Did I take a risk quitting my 9 to 5 to pursue my dream? If you clicked on this video, you probably are contemplating that decision. Whether it's, should I go ahead and go all in into this dumb dream of mine? Do I even have a plan? Is this right? Do I risk it all? Those are all the same questions that I had when I quit my job and decided to pursue this production and marketing agency. If you don't know who I am, my name is Victor, and I am the founder and owner of Rojas Productions, next to my co-founder and best friend and partner in this company, Jew. I'm going to be telling you a small synopsis of how I became this business owner and how I even came to this when I went to college for accounting. So I went to college for accounting in Nashville, Tennessee, and I absolutely loved my time there. Shout out Trevecca Trojans. But during that entire time, growing up, my parents were always taking me to weddings, quinceañeras, events, music video shoots, because they themselves were videographers. I grew up basically with a camera in hand, as my dad would joke around all the time. So from a very young age, I was always being my mom's go-to model. I was always my dad's go-to assistant, carrying cables, carrying lenses, carrying tripods, lights, things like that. So I was always on set. Fast forward in college is when I actually decided to pick up my own camera, the A7 III, which I still have, which is what I'm shooting on right now, actually. But that's when I decided to really take that step. Just dip my toes into the water a little bit, nothing too crazy, right? And I started to take free shoots of people taking my camera to college every day, my friends, vlogging, doing that whole thing. And then the pandemic hit. Yeah, everybody remembers the pandemic. Everybody remembers what they were doing stuck at home. So I was stuck live streaming, actually, Call of Duty and all those fun games. But whenever my friends weren't online, I was stuck. I was stuck with no one really to talk to. I couldn't really go outside and venture out. So it was just me and my camera. So I decided to do studio shoots and practice those. And then I started to experiment with video because I started off as a photographer. I started experimenting with video, just taking city shots, taking a walk in the park and just seeing what I found, looking up, taking different angles of different trees, things like that. But overall, it helped me because, like I said, at the time, college was now online, so I had more free time on my hands and I really didn't do much. And then I fell in love with editing my own content. So that meant downloading Lightroom and Premiere Pro. Funny enough, I actually learned Sony Vegas, for you OGs out there that know what that is. Sony Vegas was my first introduction to a professional editing app, aside from your regular editing stuff like CapCut now. But back then it was super, super simple. But Sony Vegas was actually my first introduction. And a lot of, super side note, but a lot of the things that I learned on Sony Vegas actually transferred very, very well to Premiere Pro, because I think that was its foundation. Don't get me wrong, Premiere Pro was still a thing around back in the day. But as I was growing up, it was probably 2007, 2008. Don't quote me on it, but that's what I really used and what my dad used at the time. So I graduate college and I'm dating someone at the time, and it starts to get a little bit more serious. So I still have my camera on the side. We still vlog a little bit. I'm still doing shoots for people. I'm just charging $100, $200 a shoot. Nothing too extraordinary or too bland, right? But it wasn't until me and that person separated that I decided, you know what? I have more free time. I enjoy doing this kind of stuff, and I found clients calling me more and more and more, because after years of doing free shoots from the pandemic all the way to 2024, I was pretty known as that guy with the camera, constantly shooting cars, constantly shooting runways, fashion shows, things like that, because my dad was still inviting me over to these amazing events. So through there, with the power of networking, I was constantly getting people on their side. And that's what I really want to express on how to grow a business. Growing a business from nothing to a 6-figure business and having employees is actually one of the most amazing experiences anybody can really do. Most people get stuck with just the idea, creating a Shopify or a storefront or a website, but never really pushing and doing it all. During this time, like I said, I graduated college. I was able to get my first real jobs online, hybrid, and sometimes in office too. But I was actually working in a plethora of accounting firms. When I separated from my past relationship, I had more time. All I was doing was going to my accounting job, and then I had freedom. But then I found myself more clients calling, like, hey, I have a birthday party. Hey, can you shoot real estate? Hey, I have a friend that's getting married. Can you shoot a wedding? So all of these things I was already used to, but it started to tackle on more and more and more and more. That's when it came to the realization of this hobby is now paying me, but the workload is starting to overwhelm me. I was working in the accounting firm 3 or 4 days a week in office. I had to drive to downtown Nashville, be at the office, and then drive an hour out to get back home. Once that's done, I went to the gym. I took care of myself, relaxed, took shower, things like that, made dinner. And then I would finally start editing. But by the time I was done editing, I had to get up in the next 3-4 hours. And that wasn't healthy for me. I quickly learned that I had to prioritize my health and my job because I was slacking off. I was falling asleep at my desk as I was kind of struggling to get these numbers right. Mind you, I am an accountant. Every number matters in this, and I cannot be falling asleep while typing zeros, because one small mistake may cost my company hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars because of one simple mistake. So it added a lot of pressure, and my higher ups started noticing. They were like, hey, you are not performing at what you're supposed to be at. When we hired you, you were doing great. You went through some stuff and now it's what's going on. Like, how can we help? Do you need time off? Things like that. I told them, no, let me think about it. I just have this hobby that's getting more and more and it's starting to interfere. I was calling out. When I was working from home, I started editing and not putting my full attention into my job. I was in the middle of this tug of war thing. One side is pulling me into doing the thing that I love, holding that camera, succeeding my parents as they were now retired, and I picked up the family name. So while I'm constantly being pulled one way, I'm getting pulled the other way of, I need a secure job. I need those bills paid. I have those things already set for me and I want to climb this career ladder. So I'm constantly getting pulled back and forth. And ultimately, I just didn't know what to do. In the month of October, I decided, you know what? I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to take a risk and see what I do and see what happens from it. So I did. I'd put in my 2-week notice and I said, hey, thank you guys for everything. Thank you for the amazing years I've spent at this company, but I'm going to follow my own dreams to start my own production agency. 2 days into my 2-week notice, I realized, well, a production agency requires a lot of upfront costs. And although, yes, I can probably skate by doing simple music videos, if I really, really need to scale, I need to take this seriously. And what do most people need right now? Social media marketing. So I added on to the name of Social Media Marketing and Production Agency. I was already friends with a bunch of models, thanks for the fashion shows and runways and things like that and events. So I made really good friends in that industry. Really great models, both men and women. So I decided, what if as a production company and a social media company, I just merge those two and get the best of both worlds. So whenever somebody needs a music video, I can also provide those models myself. And whenever somebody needs models for a commercial and a strategy, I already have those people on hand. So it was really easy to me to network and just call in favors like, hey, I need you right now. Can you make it? I'll give you this amount because the client is going to pay you. It was super easy once I started doing that. So I decided to start planning out what I wanted. I set myself, okay, I need to make a social media company. How will I achieve that? That's horrifying because you don't have a plan, and I just put in my 2-week notice. So as I'm going through this, I find a client and he is a real estate developer and he says, hey, I need someone to record my videos for social media and I want to be able to grow it. And I said, great, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm growing my own company doing this. He was my first client, so all I asked was $1,000 a month. It wasn't anything crazy, and I would shoot with him once a week and I would give him 60 videos. Now I get it. 60 videos is a lot. It's actually an astronomical amount of videos to post for one client for a real estate developer. So I quickly, 2 weeks in, I realized I am dying. I cannot do this. I was way over my head, right? Editing these videos, and I was managing his Instagram account. So we started from nothing, brand new, posting 2 videos a day on all socials, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So I know before you get at me, I know I was undercharging myself by a lot. 60 videos a month, shooting once a week, managing all social media accounts. Yes, I was at a huge loss. I carried on, I pushed forward, and I was able to get into a system, into a rhythm. I finally agreed with him and I said, hey, I can't do this. We're gonna have to raise your monthly retainer and I'm going to have to cut back on deliverables. That was a hard conversation, but it taught me how to manage a client, how to actually value myself in this industry and carry forward. And he was very understanding, and I am forever grateful for that first client. He's amazing, and I wish nothing but the best, and I still have that client to this day. So as we're pushing through, another client gets on. Now it's a different industry. It's a car detailing industry. Now it's a wrap shop. Now it's a retail store. Now it's a clothing brand. So now I'm getting one after the other, and I start realizing, okay, if I'm growing these people's pages, they're not paying for simple videos. They're paying for their return on investment. So as I'm scaling, I realize, okay, I'm doing this all by myself, and now it's a full-time job. Thank God I managed to pull this off in only 2 months. And 2 months was just a constant of outreaching, saying, hey, if you know somebody that needs this thing, let me know and I got you. And that is why I'm a very big advocate of the power of words. Words are some of the most amazing marketing tactics you'll ever get, especially being a videographer, because it doesn't matter how good your work is. If you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, and you are able to use those connections to your advantage, you are going to be living an amazing life. A great example of this is I was stuck shooting these regular dealerships, these street cars, and every once in a while you'll get your nice supercar. But then a DM came in, Lamborghini Nashville. They wanted my services for a recap of an event. Amazing time. Shout out Jeremy from Lamborghini. You are amazing. I miss you. Hopefully we can cook something up. He hired me to do a recap video of one of their supercar rallies. And that was a huge opportunity for me because I have never done a rally before, and I had never done anything to this extent where it's, okay, I have $1 million cars. How do I even shoot them? Because I'm just used to your low and static shots and, you know, very Japanese 90s aesthetic kind of skateboard punk vibes. But this needed to be luxury. This needed to be nice and tasteful. So it's same procedures, but different styles of editing. So that just taught me how to adapt on the fly, how to research, how to do these things on the whim. So once that was taken care of, I met one of my very good friends, Jew. He came on board and he was a YouTube vlogger, amazing audience for starting out and things like that. And he was actually very well known for being a vlogger. Now that's something that I didn't know much about because I myself had never tried vlogging myself. I just vlogged my life, but I never really turned the camera to me. And that's so weird to me even to this day. You know, the power of words, we get in contact, we start talking, we start building that connection and networking and saying, hey, we know so-and-so, we have those mutuals and things like that. And we start growing and growing and growing up until we get a call saying, hey, we liked your supercar rally from Lamborghini Nashville. I know a couple of the owners and they all recommended you because you had the balls to hang out the window and record their cars. So I need that kind of footage and energy at my supercar rally. So we go to Huntsville, Alabama for a supercar rally named Smile While or Ride for Cancer or Ride for Cam. Shout out Brian Land. He's amazing. Just got off the phone with him yesterday. Because of that, I was able to meet Ed Bolian from VinWiki, and he actually used the video I made. And that is a wonderful, wonderful experience to have where it's like somebody you used to look up to on YouTube growing up by their story times now is using your video and is coming back to promote that event and your name is on that video. That is wild to me, and that is so special. So all of this is happening in the span of a couple months, and all me and my friends decide, hey, let's go to Miami and let's go have some fun. I think we've all kind of deserved it. I've been working hard. My friends have been working hard on their own jobs. So let's take a trip to Miami. Jew has a cousin named Gabe. He has a friend of a friend that has a very profitable business, which is OF management. So because of that, Gabe recommends him to Jew and Jew recommends him to me. And I make that first conversation using my network and resources. Now, we were going to Miami completely for fun. We did not have any business ideas planned or anything like that. We just had our cameras there and we were just having the time of our lives. If you haven't watched that video is right here. Definitely go watch it. It's a nice little vlog with me and the friends, kind of enjoying a life a little bit more behind the scenes from this professional standpoint. So once we go there, we have fun, we make that connection. 2 weeks later, Drew calls me and says, hey, this guy is like wanting to hire you. And I made that connection, so I can also help you. Okay, perfect. We give him the invoice, he flies us out. We do an amazing job, amazing people. We come back 2-3 weeks later, he says, hey, I want you guys full-time here for month-to-month thing. Put me on a retainer now. I'll give you guys 30 days. Come here. In 30 days, I went from having 5 to 6 retainers down to only maybe 1. I didn't want to lose that reoccurring revenue that I had in Nashville. So what do? I am being forced to scale into having employees now. So I'm at a point where, mind you, I am only making maybe $5,000-$6,000 living in Nashville. It's kind of tough already. I mean, yes, it might be a lot in perspective, but when you're constantly driving back and forth and gas and then bills and then things of life, paying taxes and then paying insurance and all that stuff, $4,000 just went away like that. So I'm left with only a couple, maybe $100 or $1,500 left to really live, right? Or expand gear. And most of you know, just a simple lens like a G Master is $1,200. There's other things in life like going out to eat, friends, whatever the case may be. So it was already tough for me. So I was like, how am I going to pay these people? So I decided to say all my retainers, hey, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to move, I'm expanding the team. I'm expanding to social media managers. I'm expanding to filmers, cinematographers, and strategists. I also made Drew a co-founder of Rojas Productions because he was there with me from the very beginning. He believed in saying, hey, I'm going to invest my time and gas with you to go to all of these wonderful events with no payment. So I said, you know what? I don't have the experience. I could use another editor and I could use an assistant in Miami. So you know what? Let's work something out and let's go. So in 30 days, time is ticking. I finally put everything on the paper of what I'm going to do. I set a plan. Thanks to Drew, he helps me set a plan. And many days were spent on a rooftop at our favorite bar in Nashville. If you don't know, L27 is a very good rooftop bar and amazing food. So there I decided to hire some of my closest friends like Mare. She's now a social media manager and she is in charge of my clients in Nashville. She goes to every shoot, plans it, says, hey, this is what's trending. This is what you need to do. And that's where all of this company started to grow. I started to hire more people. I brought in more videographers. I said, hey, there's this one call shoot of a comedy show. Boom, 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 I need you to go. Boom, 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 hey, I need somebody to record the real estate developer. I need you to go here. And then now I'm in a position where I can call shots. Now I'm investing in an accountant that she's here right now, actually helping us with our finances. I started to grow that Chase bank account. I started to grow other bank accounts as well for the invoices and keeping track of our books and revenue. And as an accountant, it's very easy to take care of finances for other people. But as myself, I struggle with that. So that was kind of hard. So now I went from one person and in 30 days, I have a co-founder, 4 employees on call that I have to pay monthly and systems that I'm paying a subscription for monthly. Now I had to invest in office space. I had to invest in living space. I had to invest in another car because at that time I only had a 350Z. I can't really make long distance drives in that car. And it also doesn't really look too professional having a loud drift car. Because of that, I started networking with more and more people and I said, I need a mentor. All jokes aside, I contacted every person that I remembered and started making more connections before I left and X, Y, and Z. And it was just a beautiful 30 days that I will forever be grateful because every day I felt like I was growing because I was forced to push forward through all these obstacles of like, okay, your life is changing in 30 days. Are you ready to do that? I was forced to learn how to. So I moved forward, I pushed through. And in 30 days, me and Drew made this 16-hour drive down to Miami, Florida, and we got this space, and now we are starting over. Starting over is so hard in a new city that knows nothing about you. Nobody is here to help you, no connections, no networking, and overall, this story is just the beginning, right? Because I'm already getting calls for Alabama, I'm getting calls for Michigan, I'm getting calls for El Paso and Dallas, Texas. So I really want to expand this company, but realistically, none of this would have happened if I never took that chance. The saying is true, closed mouths don't get fed. If I never talked to these people and had my friends recommend me to businesses or, hey, I know somebody that's really good, not only do I provide a good service, but I also focus on saying, hey, I care about you as a person. So let's talk about, you want to play some sports? You want to talk about it? What's your Snapchat? Let's kick it. What's your Instagram? Let me send you some memes, things like that. I think something that's very important for a business is customer relationships. Once you build that bond with a customer that truly appreciates you and your work and they see the value of your work, it's going to be monumental because they are going to recommend you to their family and friends. And that's wonderful. That's something you can't pay for because they are representing you. They're putting their trust in you. So like I said, this is just the beginning of the story, a small little recap of, well, me. If you want more content like this, filmmaking behind the scenes and my journey on this business, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and comment below what else you want to see, more tutorials, more story, more business oriented stuff. Let me know.